do it beforehand. So I would prefer to be able to have it already typed up. That is not how this system works. So bear with me as I get this taken care of. Okay. Poll question is available to you. Good morning. I am Dr. Donna. It's time to get this party started. Looks a little dim. Let's adjust the light. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dr. Donna, and I am here for your morning mental workout. Let's get this party started. First thing you're going to do is you're going to inhale and exhale 3 times. All right. We are finishing out today with cognitive bias. And what is cognitive bias? Just a friendly reminder. Cognitive bias is that you are prone to systematic cognitive errors that bias how you process and interpret info. These biases also affect the type of judgment and decisions that you make. How I started doing this was I wanted to understand why people make bad decisions. Started out with cognitive bias, which led to 7 different types of biases. And today we are going to finish up with the final one, and that one is the contrast effect. Now, my question to you this morning is, do you want to learn how your brain functions? And if so, yes, stay. That's awesome. You want to learn how to do it? The brain is an amazing organ, and it is responsible for everything that you do. My objective is to teach you how to use it so that you can learn how to hold yourself personally accountable so that you can become your best. You were not taught how to hold yourself personally accountable growing up, and you haven't been taught in your adult existence. As a result, I am here to tell you how to make that actually happen. Okay. And in order for you to do that, you have to be a willing participant in this process. Go ahead and grab some note-taking materials if you have not done so. Now is the time to get that done. This is an online lecture learning environment, so prepare your mind to be able to do that. The information that I have been covering over the last 7-8 days is from Very Well Mind website. So feel free to go over there and check out what they have. I do have good news. I did find some more neuroscientists to follow, and I said this yesterday, and I will continue to say it. My goal is to turn all of my social media platforms into nothing but neuroscience, so I can, even when I'm going in to post, I'm able to see neuroscience instead of cats and kittens and people talking about whatever and doing skits and everything. I don't have the flexibility. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not quite sure who this person is. Okay. So that person had to go. Not quite sure who that person was. Looky loos, I have been advertising on my other social media platforms. So disruptors, you will be blocked. Don't start none, won't be none, but you can definitely find out if you want to. This is not that environment. So anyway, as I was saying, I will be able to experience more neuroscience information. Unfortunately, a lot of the information is old because those accounts don't post consistently. So I'm having a couple challenges inside. Good morning, Regina. Inside of the apps, just changing my algorithm, but it normally takes about a week for me to get everything changed over. But that's the good news. Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about the contrast effect. This is the last bias of the confirmation bias. And what it is you tend to, it sneaks up on you. So it's a cognitive bias where the comparison of two things influence your perception of both. So the comparison of two things influences your perception of both. And here are some signs, and then I'll give you some examples. So other signs of contrast effect include comparing one person to another. So you are comparing one person to another. And we know that I've said when we were on TikTok lives and now here that when I ask you a poll question, it's always only going to be about you versus you. It will never be about you in comparison to anybody else, because personal accountability is a personal choice. And how will you be able to get to know yourself personally if you keep comparing yourself to everybody else? That's not something that's going to bode well for you, and it's not going to lead you to becoming your best. Another instance or example of it is failing to focus on objective criteria when making decisions. And that's how we got to all of this, is because I started researching, well, why do people make bad decisions? So you're not being objective when you're making decisions. As we know, one of the 74 principles of real leadership is to be objective. And in being objective, you make all of your decisions based upon facts. That's how you make any decision. And if you find yourself not in your frontal lobe, you have brain fog, you have a hijacked amygdala, you do what they tell us to do in 12-step programs, you sit on your hands. You definitely don't make decisions with halt and now it's shout. Sleepy, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, don't make a decision, because in those 5 mental states, you are going to make an emotional, irrational decision that you will regret at some point in the future. So when it's time to make a decision, be objective. And if someone is attempting to throw you off your square, as we used to say back in the day, my answer is no. No is a complete sentence. It doesn't need any explanations. No. Can you? No. Will you? No. Can we? No. And if they ask why, no is a complete sentence, because I said no. That's it. Because when someone is trying to talk you into something that benefits them and not you, they want more information from you. Well, no, I don't have time. Well, when do you have time? No, I don't feel like it. Well, what is it going to take for you to feel like it? No, that's going to be a financial strain. Well, when is the next time you're going to have money? So you don't give them no with an explanation. You tell them no and let them figure it out. How many times have you been talked into something because you initially said no, and then you gave them more information that was then used against you in order for that person to get from you whatever it was that they wanted? So the answer is no. It's a complete sentence, no, boom, period at the end, and you keep it moving. That's how that goes. Okay, and then the final one is not considering the context of your evaluations. And so I have this process. It's called play the movie out. So play the entire movie out. You say yes, you make a decision, play that whole movie out. Don't do the trailer version, the entire movie out. When you make this decision, how is that going to end all the way until the end, the credits roll? What is that going to look like? And when you do that and you evaluate it in its totality, you will find that perhaps this might not be the best decision. And I always say go old school, draw a line down the piece of paper, get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, pros on the left, cons on the right. Cons on the left, pros on the right, because that's what's going to make you make the right decision. And if you can deal with the cons, go ahead and make the decision. If you can't, then the answer is no. And do that. Well, Dr. Don, I don't have time. The world is moving. It's constantly changing. Okay, but how much more time is it going to take you to recover from that poor choice versus sitting down 10, 15, 20 minutes and sleeping on it? How much time is it? You made a snap decision, knee-jerk response, reaction, and next thing you know, you married and you got 3 kids. And you sit here like, ooh, how did I should have, man, had September 11th never happened, I would not be married and my daughter would not be here because I got married on September 17th. If that hadn't happened, I would have waited until May and would have gotten more information and would have never gotten married. Now, do I love my daughter? Absolutely. And definitely it was a decision that changed the trajectory of my life. But again, September 11th happened. I had just gotten out of the military. I was like, oh my God, the world is ending. I got heard him get married. We got, dude, I can't wait. And September 17th, 2001, I was at the Orlando courthouse downtown getting married. Yes, play that whole movie out before you make that decision. Definitely do that. Okay, so the contrast effect can lead to inaccurate perceptions and judgments of individuals being evaluated in comparison to another. So basically, you just start comparing people and it might not be the correct comparison. So how does this play out in everyday life? I'm going to use some examples from my personal life so that you can understand. I have an older sibling and she is 3 years, 2 months, and 2 days older than myself. And so what has happened is my mother had a standard from the time I was 5 years old, until I went to college. She told both of us, "You're going to go to college. You're going to go to college." She was in a tumultuous marriage with my father, who was very abusive, and she told us, "Say, don't depend on no man. Have your own." Yada yada yada. And then she went on this whole crack journey, met my stepfather, and then ended up getting married and didn't listen to shit she told us. But that's another video, another story for another day. The point is, she said, "You got to have a degree. You got to have a degree. You got to have a degree. You got to have a degree. Get a job in private industry. Move to suburbs. Yada yada yada." Got it. So I understand that. So my point is this. She would come home, and my sister and I, the standard was we had to get A's and B's. We had to get A's and B's. And so my sister and I went to the same elementary school, Stewart Elementary School. Then my sister went to Longfellow Middle School. I stayed. We moved when I was in the 5th grade. So the last month of 5th grade, we were driving back and forth, and we moved to a better neighborhood. From there, it was the first time in my life that my sister and I didn't go to the same school. So I didn't have to be Leslie Thomas' little sister. You better not be bad like your big sister. You better keep your mouth closed and all that. So I had my own existence. And then I was placed in advanced classes in middle school. And the standard was the same. Bring home A's and B's. Bring home A's and B's. Now, my sister gets to high school. She turns 15. She cuts the food. She acts like a crazy person, leaves the house for 4 months, has to come back. Now she got to graduate from high school. She going to Saturday school, Sunday school, night school, and everything to graduate. The standard was still the same. 7th grade, I go to the academy class, and it's the class for the smart kids. And from there on, I'm in high academic classes all the way up until Dr. Donna. And the standard was the same for both of us. And recently, I realized that the standard should not have been the same for both of us, because what was not being measured was the coursework. So both of us had to get A's and B's, but I literally was taking algebra. My sister didn't ever even get to algebra, if I'm not mistaken, in high school, and I had it in the 1st grade. I mean, in the 9th grade, and I think my daughter had it in the 7th or 8th grade. I don't know if she's on here because I haven't seen her say anything, but she had it in the 8th grade. So she has honors geometry in the 9th grade when I had it in the 10th grade, but the standard was the same. By our families, we just brought those report cards home every 6 weeks, and either you were rewarded or calibrated or punished by those grades. Now, that system was not fair, and here's why. Because I had harder classes. I was in a college prep high school. My high school diploma says business administration on it. I literally had a major, had to register. I'm sorry, pre-algebra in the 7th grade, algebra in the 8th grade. Thank you for reminding me. It's a blur because she did homeschool and high school in 3 years. So all of that's in my head right now. The point is this, that literally the standard should not have been the same, because the contrast effect says I have 2 children and they're both in school and they both need to get good grades. But I needed more academic support. I needed a desk. I needed the house to be quiet because I had more homework. My sister could walk to school. I had to catch a 59-minute city bus ride one way to get to school. In the winter, I left when it was dark. I got home when it was dark, and I had 8 classes. My sister had 6 classes. My sister did not have a major. I had a major. I was in ROTC. I ran track. I was in the photo club. I was in DECA. I ran the school store. My sister went to school, and she was in dance workshop. That was it. And at one point, I had a part-time job too. So the standard should not have been the same for us, but it was. Bring home A's and B's and go to college. A second example that I have is that when I worked at Frito-Lay, our first line managers, we were all called resources, and we had several different departments at Frito-Lay. We had potato chips, we had extruded, which is your cheese puffs and your Cheeto puffs and cheese puffs. So you mess the corn up and then you turn it into that. And then you had corn, which is your Doritos, your Tostitos, and all of the corn products. And then you had warehouse and traffic. So PC, extruded, corn, warehouse, and traffic. 5 different areas for managers. And every year we had to fill out our performance development reviews, and we all got evaluated at the same level. And I always had a problem with that because PC was raining money the entire time. So all of the PC resources always got higher pay raises than us because that department was just profitable. Corn had problems, extruded had problems, the warehouse was in shambles, and traffic was all right. But it was 40 something of us. And when the managers, senior leaders sat down to evaluate us, they evaluated us on whether we made money or not and whether we had any unsafe acts or not. Not improvement, none of that. And that was unfair because all the corn resources should have got evaluated separately. All of the extruded resources, because they were doing the exact same job. But that's not how it worked at all. Good morning, Lola. That's not how it worked. And so when I finally went to traffic after I got back from my maternity leave and I got double the pay raise, taking a traffic center that was 29 out of 29 in the company and putting it first, I had to go and do better than PC, extruded, corn. I had to outperform 40 other managers in the plant in order to get that double pay raise. Now that wasn't fair, but that is the system. So that's the contrast effect to say the work, I got 120 drivers driving around the country, and everybody else could go and look at their employees, their team members, because they were in the warehouse or they were on the manufacturing floor. So how did I even get rated with the rest of them when my drivers left? Sometime we had 17 trucks, 4 or 17 trucks. I can't remember. It was long, 20 years ago. But we had team trailers with a queen sleeper. They ran 24 hours a day and would be gone for a week or two at a time and come back. But somehow my work was the equivalent to everybody else's work. And that's absolutely untrue. So when you're comparing like against like, it has to be. So sibling rivalry, if you had it or you've made your children have it, that is contrast effect. My mother used to say, well, your sister, you may not be like your sister. You may not be like your sister. I'm not her. I'm a whole nother different person than her, but I was told you can't be anything like her. But we got the same parents. And then in sports, people will compare players to that time. The debate is who's the better. Kobe, Michael Jordan, LeBron. But they played at different times, and LeBron ain't even a guard, but those comparisons are made. How? You have to compare that time to that time. So you can't compare a high school athlete to an NFL athlete and then say, oh, okay, but they can be. No, you have to compare quarterbacks to quarterbacks in high school. You have to compare tight ends to tight ends in college. It has to be the exact same because now it's exactly the same. So you're not at the Olympics comparing a gymnast to a swimmer because they're not doing the same thing. But contrast effect says everybody's the same. Or we're just going to throw every African-American woman that was born in Detroit in May in 1973 are exactly like Dr. Donna. No, they're not. I had a supervisor, we had the exact same birthday, and he and I were nothing alike at all. And there's like a 4 or 5 year gap. And then in business, you just say all small businesses. If you're a notary of Republic, then everybody that's a notary of Republic, you're the same. If you are a digital marketer, every business is the same. If you are a corporation, you are the same and you get lumped together. But Arizona Tea has not raised the price of the tea since they've been in business. It's still 99 cents. It's still 99 cents, and they have found ways to keep it. The small one at 99 cents, the big one is like $2 and something, but the price is still the price, but it's still lumped in. Cliff Bars, there are private organizations that are doing great, and they get lumped in because people say all corporations are the same. So that's basically the contrast effect. How do you overcome it? We're about to find out. When making decisions, try to be as objective as possible. If you do have to make any comparisons, it can help to take breaks in between those comparisons and evaluations in order to clear your mind of influences and focus on objective criteria rather than subjective impressions. And what this is referring to is the examples that they gave in the article. I didn't like, so I didn't use them. But what they said is if you are interviewing someone and they're a great candidate, and then you go right back into and interview the next candidate, you're going to be biased because you're going to be comparing that candidate to the previous candidate. So if that's taking place, take a break. My mother was comparing my sister and I because report card day was the same. And so my sister got home before me because she was always at a school that was in the neighborhood. Even my middle school that I went to, her middle school was behind our house. She walked through the alley, bam. My middle school was 30 blocks away and I had to catch the city bus. So she was always home before me. So she always handed the report card. And if my sister had a bad report card, the expectation was I needed to have a good report card. So when I was struggling in the 10th grade with honors geometry, in my first 18 months at Cass, I was struggling because I was in a school with 4,000 other smart kids, and that had never happened before. And the work, I was like, wow, I had to catch this hour-long bus. No one took that into consideration. I mean, I didn't get in trouble, but it was just like this disappointment every time I got to slide you this report card. So when I came home with a 2.0, not on the semester card, but in between with an F in honors geometry and C's and D's, the look of disappointment in my mother's face, I was just like, damn, now I'm like my sister. I got to come home with this bad report card. But no one knew that I was struggling in reading. That thank you for her passing it down to me. Honors geometry was hard as hell. I had 8 classes, and the workload was tumultuous for me. I had German and English. We were reading great. I had the hardest teachers. I picked the hardest teachers. And so no one took that into consideration. So when I brought my 2.0 home, the look of disappointment was the same without looking at the classes and the workload and saying, well, dang, what support do you need? Now, my daughter was in homeschool, and homeschool, she went to high school with rich kids. That school was terrible. So we put her in homeschool. And what happened was by the end of the 10th grade, so the goal was to have her graduate in 3 years instead of 4. So she did 10th grade by herself and then 11th and 12th grade together. We're 5 weeks away from the semester ending, and the workload was so tumultuous for her. She literally had 4 F's, an A, and a D, and the A was in entrepreneurship. And I'm checking her work every day, and still she's failing. So she tries to hide the grades inside of some other stuff. That's another video for another day. But anyway, we get down to it's 4 F's, an A, and a D. And what happened was it was just so much work. So yes, I was livid, but I was more livid because she was lying about the actual grades. And so once I realized what was happening, I developed a strategy, and within 8 days, 18 or 19 chemistry assignments were caught up, and all the other work was caught up. I said, you go mess around and finish high school on time trying to do the 10th grade. So put some systems in place, and the grades were up. She ended up graduating with a 4.0 on the weighted scale early, number 17 out of 201 in her class. Only 11 of the students had honors diplomas. So it ended up being a better story. But because of my 10th grade, where I was struggling in all of those classes, there was no support for me. So after the dust settled, I'm like, okay, how do we resolve this? And that's how we were able to resolve it. But if I hadn't fixed that, then she would have showed me all those bad grades. There would have been this disdain and disappointment, and then I would have made her figure it out, and she may or may not have graduated early. She may have had to do the 10th grade again and would have never gotten all those skills that she needed in order to be able to be a better student in life, in her existence. So I'm saying stop the comparison unless it's like versus like. And unaccountable people have put that system in place to make somebody feel inferior and somebody feel superior. That's what that system is for. Because when it's like against like, people have less to say. But as soon as it's different, if it's an apple and a tree, if it's an apple and a shirt, then people start comparing. Well, see the apple, but see the apple is digestible and the shirt isn't. So the shirt is bad. No, the shirt is meant to be worn and the apple is meant to be eaten. And when you put people together, you pit them against each other, especially in sports, in schools, and in jobs, and you make them fight it out. But that's not bringing the best out in anybody. It's not the best case scenario, it's the worst case scenario, and it happens every single day. Employee of the month, employee parking space. This person, we can only give one person the award. We can only, if you're not, when the Olympics happens, the people that win are all doing the same thing. Employee of the month, it should be based upon department, based upon that job. The cashiers all do the same job. So here is the cashier of the month. Here is the loader of the month. Here is the driver of the month, because now you are comparing them to the people who are actually doing the same thing. Even if you have twins, twins still don't do the same thing. So stop comparing people who are not doing the exact same thing. Now, when you are interviewing for a job, which I've had to interview people, you are looking at, can this person do this work that I'm hiring for? If I was hiring a packer, a warehouser, a forklift driver, or a driver, everybody has to be able to do these things from a job perspective, and then what will they contribute to the team, and if it's a cultural fit. So in summary, recognize all of your biases, challenge your assumptions and stereotypes by seeking out diverse perspectives. Enjoy new experiences and lead by example by embracing diversity. So we're finished with all 7 of the biases. At this point, what questions do you have? And it's open discussion about the contrast effect or anything else that we've discussed and how it can impact your decision making day in and day out. And I'm having a hot flash. So I need something to fan. I'll be heating up, yes I am. I was trying to get divorced while at the Orlando courthouse on 9/11. Wow. I missed you. I was 7 days later. I got divorced. The one thing about the Orlando courthouse, I got married and divorced. So I was there on September 17th, 2001 and March 23rd, 2004. Just a different floor. Just a different floor. Do. All right, what are your statements? I know you're typing, there's a lag. Whew. It's like fire shut up in my bones. Yes, what makes a huge difference. And so, have you found yourself experiencing the contrast effect or creating one? Didn't know that there were so many types of biases. Yes, both. Got it. So the point is that now when you're making the summation of this, and then we'll get into the poll question, the summation of this is this. You are actually making all those decisions unaware that most of them were based upon biases. Between the hijacked amygdala, where you're doing a fight, flight, freeze, or appease, additionally, all of the different types of biases, you believe that you are making decisions based upon logic and reason, and none of it has to do with logic and reason. How do you know that, Dr. Don? Because you didn't get your piece of paper and your writing utensil out, and you didn't weigh the pros and cons. You didn't actually play the movie out. You didn't objectively make the decision. You just instinctively made the decision. And yes, you can trust your gut. But past that, you need to sit down and really say, what am I doing? As I've often told my daughter, Nola, don't do anything without a strategy. What's left after anything? Nothing. When you are executing a strategy, you know exactly what you're doing. That's why that troll that first started to come to this live got blocked, because I know exactly why I'm here. And it's not for people to like me and tell me how wonderful I am. I know I'm wonderful. I don't need nobody else to tell me that. I'm here with an agenda. I have a specific purpose and goals that need to be accomplished on lives every single day. And that's how you need to lead your life. Lead your life. Yes, live it, but lead it. That's the difference. Real leadership is everyday leadership for everyday life. It is not about based upon a position, whether it's volunteer or paid. That's when you think of leadership, and I've been mentioned this before, that when I had the conversation with my daughter, I think she was in the 6th or 7th grade, we were sitting at the dinner table, and she was expressing, I don't want to be a leader, I don't want to be a leader, because you have to be responsible for everything that everybody does, and if something goes wrong, you got to be the person that gets in trouble for it. And so I quickly explained to her that that's not real leadership. That's not true. Not at all. That's not how leadership works. That's how unaccountable people have made you believe that leadership works that way, but it doesn't. When you are the CEO of Me Incorporated, and so you get to lead your life every single day. And when you learn how to use this amazing brain, you have more tools and you are equipped to lead it in the best way possible. Regina, you said, I admit I have made decisions from an emotional place and have regretted the decision and tried to go back and fix the decision, but couldn't. This is getting deep. It's like you're a living brain that speaks. Oh, thank you. I like that. I'm a living brain that speaks. I like that. Good morning. It took me 25 minutes to reconnect to your account. I was feeling like I lost my best friend. It's okay. It's okay. It said free, but I know you're a friend. Welcome, Darnetta. It's awesome. Yes. So what is taking place is you have to lead your life. And what happens is you haven't been told that. You haven't been told you are the CEO of Me Incorporated. So as a result, yes, living brain. I like that too. Let me go ahead and highlight that so I can go back and see that. So you are leading your life every single day. And the reason why that's important is because then as a leader, you have control over. So Regina, like you said, you made those decisions, but you couldn't go back. But now you can have the 7 P's, prior planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance. Now you can sit down and be in your executive function of your brain and say, what am I getting ready to do and why? And your why, when I had a Toastmasters club that I chartered, the first thing that members received was they received their welcome packet and a peer mentor and a 3x5 card that it was the why card. And why are you joining Toastmasters? And what is your objective, your educational goal for the year? And once a quarter, I would hand them those cards back and they'd be like, ooh, I said I was going to do this. Yes. And this is your why. So remember your why you're doing something. My why every morning I wake up is so that I am planting trees for which shade I will never sit. Thank you. This is my new brain shirt. Yeah, I found another one. Isn't that cool? So I'm doing this because I'm tired of being on the receiving end of other people's unaccountable decisions. That's why I'm doing this. Everywhere I go, every appointment I attend with my daughter, every time I'm on live, someone came this morning doing unaccountable shit. And I'm just tired of it. And so I'm not a person that's just going to talk about it. I'm going to be about it and I'm going to do something about it. So that's how come I can get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, whether I feel like it or not. That's why I'm following neuroscientists now, because now I understand that the reason why you can't hold yourself personally accountable is because it's neurological, but you can because you can create new neural pathways. And so all of that is to say that when you find out that you are a leader of Me Incorporated, you now can change the situation. Because the expectation is to set and maintain high standards. That is one of the principles of real leadership, and be the best. And number one, we all know it, hold yourself and others personally accountable to be the best. Now you can do something about it. There is no victimization over here. We are victors. We are conquerors. We get shit done over here. So the point is, when you know you are 100% complete control of this brain and your life, now you make decisions based upon that. There are so many times I was sitting in a situation like, yeah, I'm not going to be here. I'm not doing this shit. And then all of a sudden, a door opens. The universe, God, and higher power says, see that exit right there? Go through that. And sometimes it wasn't like, oh, I can see the path. I'm like, hey, ain't no light over there. What did you get your flashlight? Go down that path. Are you serious? Quit your corporate job. No, this is security. No, it's not. You in the hospital on portable oxygen and EKG trying to find somebody to come pick your daughter up on Memorial Day weekend. How much longer are you going to be in this shit show of a life, of a job? It's time to go, okay? If you needed a sign, this one is it. So leave. And it's the whole, I don't know. Okay, well, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. So it does take a leap of faith in your life to become a real leader and hold yourself personally accountable. It absolutely does. And has nothing to do with religion. Faith is merely, I believe that this thing is going to happen. And I know I can't see it, but I believe it's coming. I believe that it's coming. I believe that there will be millions of people holding themselves personally accountable. That's what I believe, and that's why I do what I do, because the world has to be better. We cannot continue on this path, and it starts with real leadership. So when you are making decisions, you are making them as a real leader. The president and CEO of Me Incorporated. Everybody is an entrepreneur. Everybody, I got a business. But yeah, I am the CEO of Me Incorporated, and I'm working to make it a very profitable, successful business. That's what I'm doing. Project Me. That's what I'm working on. Every day, every single day, I'm pouring into me. Gonna pour into me so me can be the best me that I can be. Okay, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and do the results. If you haven't voted on the poll question, I'm gonna give you about 15 more seconds to do so we can get the results. The one a disclaimer, one downfall that I don't want to call it downfall, but the one quirk that I don't like is when I start the live, I have to type my questions in, and so now you're looking up at the vent in my office. I'm not really a fan of that. It's probably because I got 5 different speaking and communication certifications, and I would get dinged for that in the past, but it is what it is. In TikTok, you could do the poll questions ahead of time, but then it wouldn't save the live. So the pros and cons, which one is it? What difference does the difference make? And it's just a little idiosyncrasy that I have within myself because of my need to ensure that I'm giving the best presentation possible with the least amount of distractions as possible. Okay, so poll results in the poll. And then we'll go ahead and type in your answers. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so the 7 Ps. If you message me, Regina, I will send you the video. I have a 60-second strategy. Nola, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe, or Darnetta, one of y'all, I think it's the 60-second strategy. It is prior planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance. And so what that means is when you do all of the upfront work using the 7 Ps, you have the ability to be successful from the beginning. So when you incorporate your 7 Ps while you're making a strategy, you're going to have, yes, you're going to have a better existence and it's going to work out better. So Captain Apple, when I was a battalion S1, S4, and HHD commander, we'd sit in staff meetings and then he'd say, proper what? Thank you. Barry, proper what? So he'd say it only takes, if you wait to the last minute, it only takes a minute. And his 8-Up company showed that they waited till the last minute all the time. So the poll results are in, and it is, would you rather learn more or grow more? Learning lead to grow my mind. Okay, so explain your answer. So would you rather learn more or grow more? And it was 50%. There were 6 votes. Some people voted and left, so I don't know who actually voted. Again, I can't see that. And yes, I will say that my answer is learn more instead of grow more, because if you learn more, then the growth will follow for me. The more I learn, the more you know. Yeah, the more you know, the more you grow. And that's the whole point of Mo 50, yo. That was the tagline for my Mo 50 book challenge way back that's probably, let's see. I think Mo 50 was the 3rd book challenge. I want to grow more because I feel stuck in some areas of my life. Got to learn more in order to expand my options and experiences with developed people. Yes. Okay. All right. And then there we go. The reason I said grow more was because growing ensures you're not getting stuck. And if you're growing, you will have to learn more. Yes. And so I did that on purpose. So we have Regina and Nola who said grow more. And then we have Darnetta and Kevin who said learn more. We have Dr. Donna who said learn more. And the answers go hand in hand. You basically can't have one without the other. See how I did that? I know. Yep. There she go again. Yes, that is what I'm doing. Barry, are you still here? If you are, can you explain what you meant by proper? Because I don't see your response. So you said proper, and I don't know if you're trying to correct me or what that response was. So in order for me to respond to you, I need to understand what you meant by that, if you are still here, or did you just do a drive-by? Okay. For everybody else, go ahead and get your pen and paper out, pencil and paper, or calculator. It doesn't matter, because I'm proving a point. We're getting ready to do some math, and so we're going to do some problem solving. Your working memory is going to thank you later in the day for that. Go ahead and make that highlight. I do like the highlight. So in case you all didn't know, I have the ability. Thank you. Orange is my favorite color. It's been my favorite color since I was in high school. And yes, so this is your mental workout. See, your brain is sweating, you get a visual. And I wish I could reverse it so you can see that it says, let's do this. What was I about to say? I forgot. Damn it. Okay, we'll move on. So mental workout, math is what we're getting ready to do. Oh, I was saying I can't reverse it because that's not a feature. So again, pros and cons, and these are just little quirks. Highlights. The one thing that you can do on here that I would have to manually do on TikTok, and I can only make them a minute, is here it will make it 5 minutes worth of highlights, and it will be of the 5 minutes, the previous 5 minutes that I just talked. So not only do I get the live video in totality, but now I get to make snippets and clippets of the things that I said. So definitely am loving switching to YouTube. And like I said, The Alchemist went all the way around all the social media platforms, only to arrive right back here 11 years later at YouTube. Okay, we are ready, and this is the math problem. Hey, that's okay. I like let's do shit too, because I have that shirt that Nura made me that says let that shit fall apart. So hey, let's do shit is good too. Sounds like something I would say though. So hey, it's in line with real leadership in me. So here we go. Everybody ready? Can't have to do thumbs up over here, but it'll be fine. We won't even remember, because remember when my live, Darnetta, you were there. You were the only person that was there when the lives used to glitch every 13 to 17 minutes on TikTok, and then I had to come back, and then as soon as I put a background in, it didn't glitch, and we totally forgot that it used to glitch and I would be stuck. Yes, that part. Okay, here we go. 92 times 10. 92 times 10. 92 times 10. And we're going to keep going. So we're not at the answer yet. Now you have 92 times 10. Now take that number and multiply that number by 100. So you will have 92 times 10. You have that answer, and you're going to multiply that answer by 100. Okay? And now you're going to take that answer and multiply it by 1,000. So you have 92 times 10. You'll have an answer. Then take that answer and multiply it by 100. You'll have a different answer. And then you're going to multiply that by 1,000. Okay? You should have that number now. Okay, now the last number that you're going to multiply it by is 0. And then you can type your answer in the comment section. So it was 92 times 10, that answer times 100, that answer times 1,000, and that answer times 0. And then type your answer in the comments. Okay. I amaze you. Why is that? Would anyone like let's all assess why I did that this morning? Why did I do that? So why did I take y'all all the way up to 92 million and times it by 0? Okay. I did not see even after yesterday one question. To show you can do a bunch of work and end up with nothing. Kevin. You did not see even after yesterday one question. I don't understand that part, Darnetta. Explain that to me. 0. Yes, Lola, 0. Exactly. So you can do a whole bunch of work. And if you have one loser in your life, that shit can get taken away in an instance. I saved a lot of money. I had a 720 credit score, got married, had very little money left, had to sell my house, and had a 520 credit score, and had a best S-Class Benz stuck on my credit for 7 damn years behind one person. Behind one loser. Recovering. I moved from Orlando, Florida to Southfield, Michigan to Birmingham, Alabama to Las Vegas, and still had that damn car on my credit. Still trying to explain. Repossession charge off, paid off. Still. 7 years. Still. Yes, he's still doing bad stuff. They still contacted people. They contacted my parents as recently as 2021, 2022 behind him. So that all that work and one unaccountable person can zero it out. And the more you accomplish, the harder and more painful it is. And yes, you can recover. I've recovered. Yes, you can. But is it worth it? In that decision-making process, September 11th happened. I got married on September 17th and spent years recovering from that one emotional decision. That is the whole point. That's why you can't have unaccountable people in your life. That's why you have to hold everybody personally accountable in your life. Everybody has to be personally accountable. Everybody, because you could be at 92 million and here comes some losing ass zero, zeroing it out. No matter how much you have, when you multiply it by zero, you end up with nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You got to have something, okay? You're going to not have it, and they're not going to care because they're used to not having anything. They don't have anything to lose, so they're not going to lose anything. For whatever time they're with you, they're gaining. You're increasing their property value, and then they bring your property value down and move out and leave you. Yesterday, Kevin mentioned that we end where we begin. So you would think that I would have seen, oh, where today's question was going. And nope, yes. Got it. I understand. He's staying after school for extra credit. Yes. Yes, Kevin is trying to get a gold star every day. He is trying to get an A+. He's like, if there is an award to be gotten today, it is going to be me. I am going home with the star on my forehead. Remember they used to do that? I remember I had mine. I would be like, I'm not going to recess or anything. When I get home, they are going to see the star on my forehead. Yes. As a person, a young woman never taught about thinking objectively and relationships and importance of being clear about my goal. Yes. Definitely at your age group, Regina, for sure. Not at all. And it started with a little bit with Darnetta because she's a little bit older than me, and then definitely for me, but it's still got a ways to go. Still have a ways to go. So yes, that math ain't mathing. So the next time, the more you never surround yourself with people who don't have anything to lose or who have less to lose than you. Everybody need to be at the same level of I'm about to lose, because people will start making better decisions. But when you got somebody that don't have anything to lose, or they just got a little bit of something, their credit score like 572, so they like, yeah, well, it don't really matter. Go ahead, sign for it. Go ahead, spend it. And they can't even get a bank account. No, absolutely. They are couch surfing. No. Nope. You gotta have your level of shit to lose. Okay, that's what has to happen. Because if they don't, they're gonna zero your shit out. And you know how long it takes you to get to something. You got 1,000 times 92 to get to 92 million. That's 1,000 times of doing something in order to make it better. 1,000 times. People always say, oh, Dr. Donna, it didn't take you long to do that. You figured that out. No, it took me 23 years of school and 51 years of living. That's thousands and thousands and thousands of days. We're not going to minimize because I just told you what to do. You know how many experiences I have to have in order to sit on these lives for an hour. Y'all see these notes. I've been talking for 47 minutes. This ain't 47 minutes worth of information on here at all. But it is 51 years worth of experiencing happen. Yes, or themselves. And you are here to reframe your mind. Darnetta is speaking from experience and reframing her mind. Yes, that is exactly what is taking place. And so I'm saying it happens one neural pathway at a time. And I saw a neuroscientist on some little bullshit podcast yesterday talking about neurogenesis is fake and you can't create new neural pathways. Everything happens in the hippocampus. And I started to respond. I'm like, I ain't about to argue with you, yo dumbass. So you're going to tell me in my long-term memory, that's what I use in order to create new things. How? No, didn't mention executive function, didn't mention the working memory or anything else. The hippocampus is where all the memory is stored. So you're using that. Yeah, see, the neurogenesis is a bunch of, no, it's not true. And they keep saying you're going to create new neural pathways. It's impossible to create new neural pathways. I'm going to ask y'all. Y'all got new neural pathways? Or is everything just coming from your long-term memory that you're currently doing? New neural pathways or no? You just stored it. So you learned how to hold yourself personally accountable in the 4th grade and you just tap into that. That's what you did. You already had the 74 principles of real leadership ready to go. You have no new neural pathways whatsoever. You're reading the tools, Regina. Did you just gather that information from the tools? You just already had it in your memory, in your working memory, or did you have to put it there? Did you have to put it there? Yes. 100%. So I had said, needless to say, I would not be listening to that person anymore. Yeah, so yeah, it's in the hippocampus. That's where it is. Exactly, right, exactly. Not gonna get anything accomplished over there. All right. Yes, so I asked that question, I did that. What did you learn today? Because I'm sorry, we got one more. My bad, because I ran out of room. So the word of the day today is progeny. And without looking it up, progeny, Progeny. And I'm Virginia, you might already know this because you're an English teacher. Progeny, Progeny. Does it mean give me 1 second. Children or parents? Children or parents? Progeny, Progeny. Children or parents? What did you say, Nola? Yes, both of my businesses required me to make new pathways completely 100%. That is correct, Nola, it did, because your wonderful father did not lay the groundwork for you to be able to do that. Yeah. Hence, I'm using tact right now for that statement that I just made. Progeny. Is it children or parents? Children or parents? Everybody, winner, chicken dinner. We got a 4 over here. Yes, we do. It is children. So amaze all your family and friends. You might have already known it. It was on my handy dandy list that I have for all of my, let me turn it the right way. So see, I already have words available if y'all were ever wondering. I know I showed some this before, but these are my words that I use. And once I use them, I use these for word of the day without looking it up. And PAs for the day, and sometimes even for the real leader brain. So as I'm reading books, words will pop out to me, and so I will annotate them and then go back and grab them. I told you I don't do nothing without a strategy, nothing at all. Okay, before I close, you can start to think about what it is that you learned. Here's what I'm going to say. The format for the TikTok live is this, and I did it yesterday as a test and it worked. So I'm going to continue to do that. And so what I'm going to do is take the poll question from days, because I'm not going to be on TikTok live every day because of my daughter's schedule, and this is the primary method of learning. But I'm going to take the poll question and ask people the poll question, and then I'm going to tell people a behavior, and then they have to identify if it's personally accountable or personally unaccountable. And so for the subscribers, I just made 2 new emotes for you, so that if you attend that live, you will be able to just put your emote, PA or PU, and then we will have discussions about that, because identify it has to take place. People need to understand. And on yesterday's live, had 2 people, G Yoda and dang, I can't think her name, Planae, I think it is, had 2 cathartic moments or eye-opening moments where like, wow, I didn't realize that I was being unaccountable, because they thought that they were being personally accountable until I identified all of the little tiny little nuances that make you unaccountable as well. And so as a result of that, that is the new format. And so how it works is people that are afraid to do anything, no fear zone on Instagram, then they move over to TikTok so they can start identifying it, subscribe. So they're telling the world, I'm working on becoming personally accountable. People come over here to YouTube, where you actually start wiring the neural pathways of your mind and simultaneously participating in challenges so that you are ready to go. You learn how to hold yourself personally accountable, and then you do the second part that we talked about yesterday, which is to hold others personally accountable as well. And the next thing you know, we have a world full of people holding themselves personally accountable to become their best. So that's the flow. If we looked at it from a business model or education model perspective, you think Instagram is getting your bachelor's degree, TikTok is getting your master's degree, and then over here, you're basically getting your doctorate, because I work with adults. So I'm not going to use high school terms because I don't work with children. Now, it's some people on Instagram that still will be able to participate, but they can't work directly with me until they are 18 years old, because I'm not dealing with nobody's parents. I used to consult children and their parents, and it was some of the worst decisions. So it's be the parent leader. It's like, nah, I'm not doing this. No, because either the kid would be accountable and the parent wouldn't, or the parent would be accountable and the kid wouldn't. I was like, no. Okay, scratch that. Go back to the drawing board. Got to go back. All right, Regina, the tools, the book has provided me strategies for thinking in a different way in order to see things differently and to do things differently with the intention of getting different results in my life. And that is correct, because the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and somehow expecting a different result. So if Nola and Darnetta and Kevin, if you could say what it is that you learned, and then there are other people on the live, the comment section is open. So feel free to chime in and say what it is that you learned today as well. That would be great. It's always helpful in my research. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm looking to see what is stopping you from holding, and Darnetta, you didn't send me that email about Damon and your children and why there's a different standard for them. So do not lay your amazing head on your pillow today until you send me that follow-up. Do not do that, okay? Because that's been over a week ago. I think it was on a Saturday. So you about 10 days in to not having that information sent to me, because it's really 11 because today is Thursday. You just did? Okay. Got it. You must have instinctively knew that I was getting ready to follow up. Okay. I'm getting predictable. Well, hold up. I'm gonna let that happen. Element of surprise for Art of War, one of my favorite attacks by stratagems. Okay. So the point is that why are you allowing, you're basically giving the people in your circle, your small council, your retinue, you're giving them a pass. And the question is why? Are you attempting to appease them? Do you feel like you want people in your life, so you're going to lower the standard? Yes, ma'am. Yes, definitely. You are my sister from a different mister. Okay. CEO of Me Incorporated. So why do they get a pass? Why do these unaccountable people in your life, every time, everything times 0 is 0? I was thinking it was 1, but it's been a minute since basic math. Yes. So that is what's happening. That is what is taking place. And Darnetta, did you type in what you learned? You have to type in what you learned. Okay. And the new people who are here. I am no longer doing stuff for people in my life. I'm just learning how to use my free time for me now. Yes. And you are 22, so that would be great, because you use that for the rest of your life. You're going to be cooking on all cylinders. We used to say cooking with Crisco, and then we had to stop because of heart attacks. So then we said cooking with trans fat, zero trans fat oil. So now I just say cooking on all cylinders. I am learning to expect the unexpected for these math questions. Got it. Yes, because again, remember, the math is all about problem solving for your working memory so that you can do multiple things to ensure that your day flows. So if you have multiple tasks, you're going to do order of operation for those tasks. They call it priorities of work in corporate America, in the military, but that's what that is for. How do you take something and then get an answer? And sometimes you might not like the answer, but the answer is the answer. And then what will you do based upon the answer? What decisions will you choose differently? And then again, the 7 P's, prior planning and preparation, prevents piss poor performance. Those allow you to make more strategic decisions. You use these principle of real leadership, be objective, and that allows you to make all your decisions based upon facts. Go old school, piece of paper, draw a line down, the cons on the left, the pros on the right, and now you make your best decision. If somebody's forcing you to explain your no, adios, auf Wiedersehen, I'm out of here, I'm not listening to you, deuces, whatever. And if somebody's demanding an answer right now, no. And it's a complete sentence. I dislike confrontation, and oftentimes holding unaccountable people is stressful. And that's what they are counting on that, Regina. Unaccountable people are counting on hijacking your amygdala, and that's why handle conflict. If you email me, I will send you the link to the handle conflict when it occurs article as well. And email it to me, because I can't send it in Instagram. Oh, wait, yes, I can. If you message me in Instagram, I can send both of those because they're links. I just thought about that. So that probably would, and then that'll be simpler, so it won't be in the email chat. It'll be in the other one, so it won't interfere with your challenges too. So unaccountable people are banking on you not handling conflict when it occurs. They like that because you're going to do fight, flight, freeze, or appease, and that's going to be perfect for them, because now you're not going to be in your rational mind. And now you're never going to hold. The hardest thing you can try to do is hold someone personally accountable when you are in a hijacked amygdala state. It is not going to happen. That is why you have to have enough strength to hold them personally accountable. So as my daughter can attest to this, she is a fire sign, a type A personality, ADHD, ADD, and she will be 50 toes down on some shit. and I'm going to win. Because if it's you being personally accountable, I don't really care. We could grapple, we could be at a chokehold, we could fisticuffs, we could be at a cafe having a conversation, but personal accountability is going to persevere. And persevere during times of adversity is also one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So when you find yourself trying to hold someone personally accountable and you can't, remember, be the best. That is the objective of holding yourself personally accountable. So your best has to override their mess. Your best has to override their mess. So you're saying, okay, your unaccountability is impacting my best. I ain't got time for this mess. Kick rocks. And if they want to stay around, the rule is you're going to be your best too. The barrier to entry into my life is best. If you don't want to be your best, I'm cool with that. Kick rocks. But you don't get to be over here. I'm not your charging station. You're not going to plug into me and get some oxytocin and then go back to your toxic situation. You're not using my oxygen or nothing else to try to survive over in Loserville. You're either coming over here to the land of real leaders or kick rocks. So when you have enough personal accountability inside of you, you have the ability to say, here's the standard. I don't care how cute you are, and it's hard to hold nice people accountable. You have an easier time with, or simpler time with people that you don't like or people that are mean. Oh yeah, I'm holding you accountable. But it's that nice little cute little 4-year-old standing there in Somerset Mall saying, where's my buggy? And I said, little girl, I told you when you turned 4, you wasn't getting no doggone stroller. I'm out here in these streets. I'm dating right now. This ain't cute. Me with high heels on pushing the stroller. You messing up my swag right now. So no, you are about to walk around the mall with me. Okay, this is what we're about to do. Anyway, that's a different story for a different day. The point is, even with her little 4-year-old self, trying not to take the trash out of her room and put it in the kitchen. Listen here, if you want this dollar, make up your bed and take that trash and put it in the kitchen. Otherwise, no allowance this week. So doesn't matter how cute they are, how nice they are, how long y'all been in a relationship, best is best. And you got to ask yourself, is this relationship bringing out the best in me? And if it's not, they got to go. They have to go no matter what they do. And that's why you have to have, and the more risk you take, the more challenges you take, the more you hold yourself personally accountable, as my daughter has found, the less tolerance you have for unaccountable people and all their antics. Occasionally, I notice that I can wake up and I am sleepy. There is a moment when my mind suddenly becomes very alert, like my battery got a jump start. It is too obvious to ignore or not to share. Exactly. Yes. So the more you can do that, the more your brain is saying, I'm personally accountable, the more neural pathways you have to personal accountability, the less tolerance you have for unaccountability. So check your loserance. And that's loser tolerance. That's a doggone Dr. Donna's dictionary. So if you have a high loserance, you're going to have a low personal accountability arrance. That's what's going to happen. So the more losers you have in your life, the more accountable you're going to be. And the more personally accountable you are, the less losers that you have in your life. That's real leader math. Just to clarify, while in the class. Yes, ma'am. I understand. So my point is this, ladies and gentlemen. Like the question, is this relationship bringing out the best? This will help. Oh, you like the question. Is this relationship bringing out the best? My best. This will help me when dealing with unaccountable people. It will. That's why be the best is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And Nola, if you have to go, I know we got that 8:30 appointment. You can go ahead and start turning in your real leader resources. And so part of the reason why my daughter, I'm grateful that I finally said, you know what, she is 22. Let her come on the lives. Because a lot of times people will tell you that they're doing things with their family and they'll put on shows and make it seem like the cameras go away and that shit's a shit show. The Osbournes did it. None of that stuff that you saw on their show was real. They were just as toxic and dysfunctional in real life, but the show made it seem like it was kind of functioning and it wasn't. And later we found out that none of the shit was true. That's another reason why she's on here, to confirm everything I'm saying. So I'm telling her right now, she got to turn her real leader resources in before she goes to any appointments. She's in 2 other challenges and she has to turn her things in at night. and self-care challenge, as well as and for her sports assembly business. She has to do things for that every single day. So she too has other things that she's working on behind the scenes, because as I mentioned, I don't care who you are not having access, especially for her, because she got physical live access to me. So the standard to have me live is extremely high, extremely high. And I'm saying that so that you will see she grown, 22, don't have a fully functional frontal lobe. And so people with adult children, yeah, but she 12. Yeah, but she 30. Okay, but she's 22 now. So plenty of issues can take place behind the scenes. And I still have to check her and still say, listen, this is what you're getting ready to do. It's a no debate. But at the same time, treat people with dignity and respect. I do treat her as if she is a 4-year-old adult. And so some things, the standard is up here. But my rule with her is this. If I have never taught you how to do it, then now we can have a discussion. But if it's already a strategy in place and you haven't done that strategy, then we got problems. And I'm going to hold you accountable to a pre-existing strategy. That's how that works. And she has the right to say, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. This is what you need to do, because I can lead by example is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, and be willing to follow others is another one, and be coachable and provide coaching. When you have those 4 things together, now you can create a cohesive family unit or a team. Because I don't really like saying family because it's got negative connotations. So if you say team, then it works better. Because when you're on a team, people have the same goal, and it's be the best. So that's it in a nutshell. Basically, what I'm saying is you have to be over here holding yourself personally accountable, learning how the brain works so you can wire it to personal accountability. And then you have to do the number one principle of real leadership, which is to hold yourself personally accountable and others. That's it. And people don't have to be personally accountable, but they can't have access to you. Because if you let them, you're going to have 92 million and it's going to turn into zero. You're going to have 92 million and then it's going to turn into zero from one person. I say one loser is 3 too many because they're causing triple the amount of problems. Low self-esteem, low confidence, and big giant egos zeroes out everything that you're working towards. And you need to fix what's happening in your life. Don't concern yourself with world leaders and all that. They got jobs to do too. You have your own community that you're in, that you're ignoring because unaccountable people want to have conflict. Don't start none, won't be none. You want some conflict? Hey, air an opportunity. Right here, boo-boo. Let's do this. Okay? Because what I'm not going to do is let you be unaccountable and be in my life simultaneously. Best is my objective. I would rather have peace and be by myself and be at my best than to have 5 friends dating somebody sitting at some fucking picnic somewhere. I'm good. I've been to enough picnics. I've been to enough cookouts, dinners, movies, all that. Shows, because we live in Las Vegas. I'm good. What you got on this personal accountability? Put some down payments on that. That's what you can do. Invest in you being your best. That's what you can do. You want to do something for me? Become your best. How about that? Go tackle the hard things. Go attack your fears instead of trying to attack me. Because it's easy to attack you instead of attacking their fears. But that's what you got to do. Challenge yourself and handle your fears and take risk. Because the only way to get to your fears is to start taking risks. And when you take more risk, those fears are going to seem minuscule compared to how many risks that you actually take on a day-to-day basis. Okay, does anybody else have anything else for me before we get out of here? Because I got to stretch and have a shower and get ready to go make this bed and this desk and this other stuff for my, I can't think of daughter in Spanish. It's not Nija. What is it? I can't think right now. Brain cramp. Talk to her in German is what it is. At least I got it in German. Is it Iha? Iha. See, I got it right before I saw it, Darnetta. Thank you very much. Because I've been doing German for the last year, so I haven't been doing my habla español. I've been sprechen Sie Deutsch, nicht sehr so gut. Okay. Thank you very much. Again, I will be back tomorrow, higher power, God, and the universe willing. Same time, same place. One of my other brain t-shirts. Remember to hold yourself and others personally accountable. That is the number one thing that you have to do all day. You on 199 on Duo? Oh, congratulations. Wow, that is amazing. I think when you get to 200 days, I'm thinking that's your 200 days, they give you something for that. That is amazing. That is good that you have that streak. That is awesome. 100%. Yes, I think I can't. And when I was at 200 days, it was so many years ago, and Duo has had like 5 to 7 iterations since then. Thank you, Regina. My pleasure. And you do the same. And so it has changed so much that I'm not quite sure what's happening, but I know when you hit certain landmarks, it does get you something along with all the other awards. So that is amazing. That is muy bueno. All right, you all go off and have an amazing rest of your day. And remember, put you first. You come first. Get your 15 minutes or more of personal time in because you matter and you count. Take care. I'll be back tomorrow. Adios.